says that there are these three possibilities, one of which is true, leaving it open with some. It's also possible that we will all fail to reach this level of technological maturity, that all civilizations at our current stage of development go extinct. For some, maybe there is some advanced technology such that when you discover it, you invariably use it to destroy yourself. Or there might be some other reason why civilizations will not get through to this level of technological maturity. But if they do, and if they're still interested in that stage, that using some of their resources to producing these civilizations, then most people like us would be living in this simulation. So the simulation argument imposes a constraint on what you can coherently believe about the future and about our place in the world.
The experimenter today in the lab can make a measurement which will affect the nature of reality as it was, say, 5 billion years ago. And I think there's a feedback loop between the existence of living organisms and observers and the laws and conditions, because otherwise it just seems a bit miraculous that the universe happens to have started out with the right laws and the right conditions that will lead observers like ourselves who are able to not only make measurements but make sense of it all. But quantum mechanics provides just such a feedback through time. It does allow this backwards in time effect, not backwards in time causation. It's not that we here now can do things to change the past, to fix it up so that we can be sure we exist, but we have an influence on the past through the quantum measurements we make today.
So an atom and its electron are multiversal objects, and that multiversal object is what the quantum mechanics is describing. Now, that means that the parallel universe aspect of reality as described by quantum theory must apply to objects of all sizes: humans, stars, galaxies, everything. And that's why we call it the parallel universe theory rather than just parallel electrons theory. And the same theory that the atoms exist in more than one place in different universes says that we humans also exist in more than one place and in more than one state of mind and so forth in different universes. There are some universes in which you and I don't exist at all.
An incredible story unfolded. Cosmic rays and radioactivity turned out to be connected in a way so shocking that it beggars belief. The discovery of this connection would force us to rethink the nature of reality itself. The world we think we know, the solid, reassuring world of our senses, turns out to be just a tiny sliver of an infinitely weirder, more wonderful universe than we could have ever conceived of in our wildest fantasies. Our reality is just an illusion.
As computing power grows, you can create worlds in a computer. If you have tremendous computing power, you can simulate every possible thing that could occur, including the neurosynaptic firings in the characters that you create. So in that sense, what's to stop you from thinking that the characters you created are themselves real? Now, if you've created this world and the world has built into it a kind of pseudo-free will, maybe those characters will say, I want to create a simulation. So that they create simulations within the simulations. Step back and ask, how many total simulations are there? How many total worlds are there out there? There's only one real world and everything else is a simulation. Which are you more likely to be in?
40 years ago, we had Pong, like two rectangles and a dot. 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D simulations with millions of people playing simultaneously, and it's getting better every year. And soon we'll have virtual reality, augmented reality. If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then the games will become indistinguishable from reality. Either we're going to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality, or civilization will cease to exist. Those are the two options.
Some people think, in fact, the whole universe is a computer of some sort, and they believe that perhaps everything, therefore, is a simulation. I don't think so. I don't think that there is a super video game where we are nothing but puppets dancing on the screen and somebody hit the play button and here we are talking about simulations. Yeah. No. Even Newtonian mechanics says that the weather is so complicated with trillions upon trillions of atoms that it cannot be simulated in a finite amount of time. In other words, the smallest object which can describe the weather and simulate the weather is the weather itself. The smallest object that can simulate a human is the human itself. And if you add quantum mechanics, it becomes almost impossible to simulate it with a conventional computer.